To be perfectly honest, I've had enough of being an enigma. I want to be known. My birth was something magical, something different. I was different. My parents, playwright Arthur Miller and Australian photographer Ingrid Morath, were both ecstatic until they realized what they got themselves into. Although their lone expectation was art and everything that had to go along with it, I strayed from the norm. Instead of the poor, starving artist, I chose to become the actress, screenwriter, and director that I was born to be. I think my favorite part of all would have to be the monkey act I put on during my schooling. Attending Choate Rosemary Hall and Yale University was something really interesting. I learned that art is rarely respected, and most often, mimicked.
Hello. Hello, Marianne. What? What? Listen, 45 is my top offer. I don't care. If he goes somewhere else, then he goes somewhere else. Don't worry about it. You're doing a fantastic job. All right. Have a nice morning, Marianne. Oh, God, that woman, she's going to drive me crazy.
Your blood pressure went from 120/90 to 148/100 in just that one conversation.
Since when did you become a registered nurse?
Would you like to go in and out of the
This is crazy. We need to get a new number.
How long before he loses his mind completely? Thankfully, my acting detoured into a tree and became extinct. If I had become a movie star, that would have been a personal disaster. So I turned to directing and filmmaking. My focus turned into something meaningful. I strayed from the ordinary. When monarchs told me to be average, I rebelled and did the exact opposite. Ironically, my films became my life, and my life became a film.
I have known Pippa Lee for 25 years. She is a mystery, an enigma, and I think that I will never really know her.
To be perfectly honest, I've had enough of being an enigma. I want to be known. Like many people, I have lived more than one life.
Pippa.
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 I'm Pippa Lee.
Rebecca Miller's The Private Lives of Pippa Lee takes a conventional approach to turn a novel into a full-length feature film. Miller personally transformed her novel into her very own screenplay, which she then turned into a film.
I started really ripping it apart completely because I realized the novel was structured in a certain way that worked for the novel, but where there were large chunks of the past, large chunks of the present that wouldn't have worked for the film. I wanted the film to where the present and the past were snaking in and out of each other all the time.
The narrative features a woman who begins a second life after her husband leaves her. During multiple flashbacks, Pippa is forced to revisit her past and finally accepts what her life has done to mold her into the person she truly is.
Pippa Lee is a woman that you think you know in the first few minutes of the movie. She's got grown-up kids, she's got a lovely life, she's got a much older husband, she's a lovely hostess, and gradually you realize that she has a past that just doesn't match her, and minute by minute, we are unpeeling her character like an onion and getting down to the essence of her. Through understanding her past, we begin to understand her.
Miller's sophisticated directing is very evident in The Private Lives of Pippa Lee, with it being her most recent film.
I don't know how the rest of my story will go. I don't know who I'll be in it. I'm just seeing what happens next.
Delia was seductive. Sex gave her power and a sense of control. But then she fell into a trap. She fell in love. Greta was ambitious. She adored her husband more than anything, until she became a success. Paula was restless, living only for herself, until suddenly, everything changed.
What happened to you? I was in an accident.
Rebecca Miller's unique, unsaturated style is extremely noticeable in her release of Personal Velocity: 3 Portraits. The film features 3 women's escapes from their afflicted lives. What ties the women together is the struggle to flee from the men who confine their personal freedom.
Marriage gave new meaning to sex for Delia. It was no longer only about power. They really made love in the beginning. Once Kurt felt her love for him, a violence crept into their lovemaking. A force of rage Delia found exciting at first until she felt the bite of his coldness, and she realized that he despised her.
This film is the first one that Miller unleashes her stylistic freeze-frame photos. To break up the moving clips, Miller uses photos or freeze frames to create drama within the scene.
3 portraits of 3 women, transformed by the restless spirit that lives in us all.
It's gotta mean something. It's gotta be a sign.
Everyone has their own personal velocity.
Personal Velocity.
What are you thinking about?
I'm going to plant the bellflowers in front of the house today.
Well, at least leave me a place to walk.
The Ballad of Jack and Rose strives to go that extra mile on being different. The film's narrative features a dad and his teenage daughter living alone and in the past.
It's a sweet little bridge, but I wouldn't want to drive across it.
Well, seeing as we never go anywhere.
You still don't understand weight-stress ratios.
I understand them enough.
Enough for what?
For my everyday needs.
Living on an island off the East Coast, the two are sheltered from the outside world until one day when Jack decides to open up his home. He refers to it as an experiment, which his daughter absolutely hates.
You got thinner.
My personal business is everyone's business. After I matured, I found my soulmate when my father was preparing for the film version of the Elder Miller's play, The Crucible. Daniel Day-Lewis and I married in November of '96, and I couldn't have been happier. After experimenting with more writing, I bore 2 sons, Ronan and Cashel, in 1998 and 2002. After playing the part of mom and housewife for a while, I got back into my career and the swing of things. I guess that the best part of my life is the way that fate gave me my own screenplay that I took, edited, and rewrote how I wanted it. Looking back, I have been a lot of things in my life. I was an anorexic, beer-drinking, class-cutting, doodling shoplifter skater chick that was into nature, art class, and the beach. I never had any desire to become a well-known actress. I had no ambition to stray from the ordinary. I don't like getting patted on the back or getting noticed. I like to be different.